but there is no proof that you will pay black women. And this is the coup de grace for me. The Queens of Comedy, Wanda Sykes, in the realm of comedy where she hangs, if you will, name 3 funnier comedians of color and who have done more than them, than that crew.
You can't.
Just name it. Name them. And because you can't name them is the reason why you've got to give them room to breathe so they can make money. You've got to give them room to breathe so they can make money. Because if Monique takes $500,000 and she has 57 wins and 25 noms, what does a person get who's just gut bucket funny and never got nominated? Because the people who have the ability to judge and have opinion have favorites that don't look like them.
Someone would say, what more do you have to do?
What?
And something I want to share with y'all, because, Daddy, I want to speak to the brothers that spoke to me. I have to. When it comes to Brother Steve, again, I say, what happened between you and I that you won't even pick up the phone? When it comes to Brother Charlamagne The God, when I heard him call me Donkey of the Day, see, this is the same brother that got on the elevator at the Monique show and was very respectful. And I said to him, as we were joking, I said, baby, give your mama a hug from me, 'cause she raised you right. And that baby looked at me and said, yes, ma'am. And we had a beautiful moment. So to hear this young man call me a donkey of the day, I would say to him, why do you have so much hatred towards black women? Because that's what that is. You can't cut it, you can't dice it, you can't slice it. That's hatred towards your sisters. And when you have people that say about our relevance, see, there was a woman named Moms Mabley. I don't want y'all to forget her. There was a documentary done on her, and they spoke about her brilliance. They spoke about all that she gave to the world of comedy and to the world at large. They spoke about this woman, how she was just a genius. Mm-hmm. But what they didn't speak about is she died broke. Mm-hmm. Not because she squandered her money. See, they'll make y'all believe we dumb niggas. And these niggas don't know what they're doing with their money. And see how long? No, it's just that we don't get the monies we're due.
Who else?
LaWanda Page. Iconic. Legendary. If you say you fish-eyed fool anywhere in the world, they will say that's Aunt Esther. I don't care what color you are, what language you speak. If you say you fish-eyed fool, they're going to know that's Aunt Esther. She died broke. Red Fox. We watched that story. Now, for the younger generation who is saying to me about relevancy, irrelevancy, and you're speaking about, oh, it's a different time, I want to bring one of y'all babies to light that maybe you can relate to. Lisa Left Eye Lopez. She died broke. I want to bring another baby home that maybe y'all can relate to. Tupac Shakur. He died broke. So all of the programs we're watching right now on this brother, who benefits from that money? Who gets it? Not his mama, because she went to the next journey as well.
And you've seen the shows on TV where you had brother, I can't call his name, Brother Rerun, for What's Happening. He was telling the cast, what, Frederick Studd?
Yes, sir.
He was telling the cast, hey, we got a hit. We're not getting the money that we're supposed to get. And Fred Barry, there you go. We got the numbers, but we're not getting the money, guys.
Come on.
Let's stand together. And guess what happened? They stayed quiet. And what happened to Miss Hemphill?
What happened?
A legend. And if you talk to Brother Raj today, who played Raj today, mm-hmm. What would he say?
He would say that we weren't treated nor paid fairly.
And that Fred Barry was right.
And y'all, when you hear that our sister, Shirley Hemphill, see, this is when I don't understand the sisters. And I don't want to put a color on it because There have been my white sisters that have been standing in support like, Mo, this is some bullshit,
Absolutely.
baby. We got your back. So I don't want to
Absolutely.
put a color on it. I want to say my sisters. When you hear some of my sisters saying, fuck that bitch. Oh, baby, that's what they saying. When you hear my sister saying, are you out your fucking mind? She's only worth $2 million. And that's our sister from the Breakfast Club. I'm not sure of her name, so I don't want to say it because I don't want to say it wrong, but she's on with Charlamagne and the other brother. But when you hear that Shirley Hemphill died in a one-room apartment with a spider pot next to her bed, is that because she squandered her money? Or is that because she just wasn't paid the money she was supposed to get? So y'all are quick to say all that we didn't do, but you won't say what they haven't done.
And at Influence, look, you are so right. They self-hate. And what happens is, the question is not why do we self-hate? It's almost how do you not self-hate when you've been conditioned to do so?
Mm.
And now you have to ask yourself, are you willing to love you enough to say, hey, listen, because what we're not trying to do, again, the first rule of sales is you never, ever bash someone else's product. We're not going to sit here and tell you nothing bad about any one of those individuals who are getting what it is that they're supposed to get. Again, you can't, and you want to rejoice for them. However, there have been some individuals that brought up Ms. Schumer's statistics in terms of movies. And back to the Netflix piece.
Yes, sir.
I got an opportunity to speak with Robbie Prawl, who is in charge of the comedy specials over at Netflix, the VP. And in talking with him, he was a nice person, very professional, and the whole nine. The interesting aspect of it was that made us say this seems a bit color and gender biased was when he presented the offer and we came back to have a discussion. I said, how did you come up with this offer based upon what you provided for other people? And he said, we use a anticipatory process.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, what exactly is an anticipatory process? We anticipate what an artist is going to do on Netflix, and that allows us to offer them the number. So I said, well, what about Monique's resume, her body of work, the movies that she's done? Well, that doesn't translate with us here at Netflix, and we don't include that. Okay, well, how did you get to the number for Amy Schumer? Well, I'm glad you asked me that, is what he said. He said she sold out Madison Square Garden twice. And she came out with a hit movie this summer. Now, the movie she came out with was called Snatched. So, to those astute listeners out there, if you're paying attention, when he said what we were looking at, and not in entirety, but in part, is Madison Square Garden, her selling it out twice, and then her movie,
Mm-hmm.
ladies and gentlemen, that is her resume. That's her resume. Because that is the history of the work that she has done to substantiate what you're giving her in the present. So we said, if you are going to tell us you won't include Monique's resume, why are you including hers? We want to know what's so different that you're going to say that you don't use the resume, but you're casually explaining to us that you are.
And when those things can't get explained, that's when people will say, oh, Monique's husband is difficult. And we've been dealing with that for some years now because people simply can't explain themselves. They'll say, Monique's husband is difficult. And then when you get the brothers to jump on board and you're saying, but did you even ask any questions so it can be explained? See, when you hear Brother Steve Harvey giving advice about how we should do business, and I'm paraphrasing, the way you do this is they give you an offer and you counter and you go back. Well, Steve Harvey, Netflix said there was no counter. There was no negotiating. The number was what it was. Take it or leave it. Now, Brother Steve, what do you do now?
And someone just said Amy Schumer made $100 million on the film. What was it?
Trainwreck?
Yes. And that's why you got to give her props. That's why we sitting here saying we can't take nothing away from her. And when you did that, I believe that was in the year 2014. So that means you are going to include things that happened years ago, are you not? So why would we not include the fact that Monique got nominated for an Emmy with Bessie? Why would we not include that Monique was the fan favorite, was voted fan favorite in the movie Almost Christmas? That, let me just give you some numbers, because you spoke about the $100 million that Amy Schumer made, which is a hit, and Robbie Prawl spoke about the hit that she had called Snatch. And sometimes when you look at the numbers, it helps you get a better understanding why people say what they say. But let's just try apples to apples. There's Snatched and there's Almost Christmas, which Monique was in. The domestic total gross for Snatch was $45,852,178. That was the domestic gross that Snatch made, which is a nice sum of money. Now, Almost Christmas is $42,158,780. Or in short for everybody, because the numbers are a little long, $45 million, $46 million for Snatch, $42 million for Almost Christmas. Okay? Now, somebody would say that's a dumbass comparison because Almost Christmas made less than Snatch. Hold tight. The production budget for Snatched was $42 million. I'm going to say it again. The production budget for Snatch was $42 million, and the domestic gross for Snatch was $46 million, and rounding it off, which gives it a $4 million profit. Almost Christmas had a $42 million budget, and a $42 million profit and a $17 million budget, which gave them a $25 million profit. Okay? Now, if a $4 million profit puts Amy Schumer in a place that she was in a blockbuster, we're not going to dispute that. We're just saying, how does someone that's in a movie that they're the fan favorite, that it made $25 million? And not only did it make $25 million off of $17 million, it had less theater seats available to it. Almost Christmas had 2,300 seats available to it on average. Snatch had 3,500, which implies if they had more seats, would they have made more money?
And see, I want to address something too, because people are putting in here, Monique was not the star of Almost Christmas. Let's address it. When you do a screening, right? And Daddy, could you give the numbers, because I want to be as humble as I can.
Well, here's the thing. You're only sharing with them what transpired to make a point. And see, what we're saying is, under normal circumstances, that's why Kendrick Lamar has the song Be Humble. Because we're supposed to shut up and not say anything to make our point. But these points that you make are what allow you to substantiate your client's deal. You must have points to make. So the point that she's essentially saying is, she didn't consider herself the star of the film. She did not personally consider herself the star of the film. But the audience who pre-screened the film, who gave the film the highest rating, Almost Christmas, that it had for a universal film in its genre in the last 10 years. And what makes that point is that when you are the highlight of the film by that same audience that is voting the film the highest rated in the last 10 years, it should have some relevancy. And we're just saying, why would it not?
Why would it not? And for the brothers and sisters that are in the room saying, but you weren't not the star, are y'all paying attention though to the numbers? Because let's say Gabrielle Union was in that film, Kimberly Elise was in that film, J.B. Smoove was in that film, and the list goes on and on. So their next films, did they get multi-million-dollar paychecks? Because Almost Christmas made a $25 million profit domestically. So ask any of those people, their next films, did they get multi-million-dollar offers. See, I don't care how y'all try to dice it and slice it. You can't make it make sense. Now, you do have those ones, because what I have to understand, Daddy, is, and I said to my daddy today, I said, I had a strange conversation.
Yeah.
He said, Mama, what? I walked in the closet. I said, Daddy, I talked to Ida B. Wells. And he looked at me and said, what? I said, I talked to Ida B. Wells, and she said, Monique, you've got to call their asses to the table.
Call them.
You've got to call them to the table, and you've got to call it for what it is. Because I said, Daddy, does this seem like cooning? When you have black men going against their sisters? Does that seem like any form of cooning to you? And Ida B. Wells said, Monique, call them to the table. Because when you read her book, and she wrote her own story, there are some men in history that she had to call to the table that we hold in high esteem. But when you read her book, baby, she had to call those brothers to the table. And I want to address something else real quick, Daddy, before I address John Mary and Cheryl Underwood. I want to address the folks that are saying, Monique's husband. Oh, Monique's husband. I understand why you would say that with trepidation. Okay. Now, okay, give it to me. Give it to me.
Get it.
I understand, because tell me about the man in history that you read about that stood next to Harriet Tubman. Tell me his name. Tell me about the man that we read about in our history books that stood side by side with Harriet Tubman when she said, I've got to make a change. Tell me about the man in our history books that you read about that stood side by side with Eartha Kitt when she said, it's inequality. Tell me about him. Tell me about the man that stood side by side to Hattie McDaniel when she had to say, I'd rather play a maid than be a maid. Please don't take my livelihood. Tell me about the man in history that stood with her. Tell me about the man in history that stood with Nina Simone when she said, we're fighting for change. Tell me about the man in history that stood with our sister Oprah when she said, I don't eat beef. I'm not telling y'all not to eat the goddamn beef. I just don't eat the beef no fucking more. And the farmers wanted to sue that woman. But tell me about the man that stood with her when she had to have that fight.
Who was she standing with when she came out the courtroom?
She was standing with her white attorneys. So I understand when my sisters and my brothers have so much to say about my husband. But this is what I will say to my sisters and brothers. Don't allow people to divide the person that you've asked the universe to allow you to share the rest of your life with. And they do it so well that they will convince you that your husband or your wife can't be your best partner, and you've got to go to somebody else who, when they go to bed at night, they ain't thinking about your black ass.
They're not thinking about your family because they're not supposed to be.
They're thinking about theirs. Mm-hmm. So I will keep standing, sisters, for my man.
And I'm going to keep standing for my woman. And if I may, the reason why it's imperative that I stand for my wife, for my mama, because somebody said it, oh, that's creepy that she calls him daddy and mama. Was it creepy when you saw the old white folks call each other ma and pa? No, it's the same term of endearment. But the reason why I stand with her is because I was raised by a grandmother whose husband did not stand with her. Mm-hmm. So, and I don't want to get emotional. Mm. But when I think about what a woman in 1903 did not get in terms of opportunities, and she told me about the A papers that she had when she was in medical school. But my grandfather would die. He would not allow her to pursue a dream. She said, when you become a man, you allow your wife to do what it is that she wants to do, and you inspire her, and you allow her to live out her dreams, and she will always appreciate that. And I gotta keep my promise. So to these black men out there, did you make a promise to your mom, to your grandma, that you're going to stand by? And I'm not crying because I'm sad. I'm crying because I'm overjoyed.
Come on,
that I'm doing right by my grandma and by my wife, my mother, my mama. And they say you cannot be admired unless you are first criticized. And we are appreciative not just of the aberration from a standpoint of outside beings, but we need to admire one another as our family. And as long as we have the aberration of our family, my kids, my wife, we've already won. Netflix, they don't have to do nothing. We're going to move on. It's all good. But what we're trying to say is, if we look out for one, we should look out for all. My bad, baby.
No, my daddy. And see, I have a gentleman as a husband. And he won't say the things that I'll say. Because he's a gentleman. And I've taken the charge. Tommy, could you hold this, please, and try to get this situated? I've taken the charge of being loud. I've taken the charge of being tacky. I've taken the charge of being ratchet. I've taken those charges. But when I sit next to a king, and that king says to me, Mama, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. I'm going to say it the best way I can say it. And see, when my sons sit at the dinner table, and their daddy begins to explain to them what their mama is dealing with.
That's all.
And our boys look at their daddy and they look at their mama and they go, wow, we so proud of y'all. So when y'all want to question me, why I call him daddy, let me tell you why I call him daddy. Because he raising me, goddammit. See, if this man wasn't on my side, do you know how many motherfuckers people would have been? Do you know how many coons people would have been? Do you know how tacky I would have gotten? Though y'all know I would have been right. But this man is teaching me to have empathy and love. This man is saying to me, Mama, for the black woman who won't stand for you, I'm going to need you to love him through it. He's saying to me, Mama, for the black man who won't stand for you, I'm going to need you to love him through it. Now, I want to say, fuck them niggas. But this man sitting next to me, he's saying, I need you to learn empathy and patience. So for y'all that want to question shit, I get it, because you ain't seen your mama be loved by nobody. I get it. See, and I'm going to say it because it's on my heart. See, everybody talking about Oprah Winfrey for president. And we are rattling behind her. The black women are saying, yeah. But let me ask y'all a question. Whenever did she rally behind us?
When?
What award show did she get up on the stage and say, #MeToo? What sister? And I want to say this, please. Jada Pinkett Smith, let me say something to you, baby. Me and you come from the same place called Baltimore, Maryland. And me and you know what it is to walk on the streets of our city and see inequality. Because we cut from the same cloth. So I want to thank you, baby, for standing. And like she said, y'all may not like how she said it or the way she said it, but goddamn it, she said it. Because I will ask any of y'all uncourageous asses, whenever has change happened with fucking silence?
When?
Whenever has a difference been made and we didn't say shit? So y'all scared niggas out there, keep being scared. Then you're asking me, and see, y'all are asking me, and I appreciate the questions. I appreciate John Mary. John Mary is a black journalist, and I got to give that brother his props. He is a journalist. I wanted to call him a gossip columnist, but that was unfair of me.
But doesn't he consider himself a gossip
He
columnist?
considers himself a journalist that does a gossip column. Nigga, okay, respect this, man. Respect it.
That's right.
Okay?
Woo.
And when you have the pen and paper, that's powerful. And this black man for years, have put things to paper about me that he couldn't prove. And there was a time he was on Cafe Mocha with Lonnie Love and another sister. And he was saying how foolish I was for not going to con, and my husband was fucking it up, and he was trying to compare me to Will Smith, and just a bunch of bullshit. And when he couldn't prove it, his ass began to run. So now when I say on the Sway Show, and I said it humbly, I said, y'all, I say this humbly, but I am the most decorated comedian alive. I didn't say it with vanity. I didn't, because it can be proven. Well, this brother went and did a meme of Whoopi Goldberg and all these other comedians, and he gave his commentary on what he thought about me. And me and my husband had alternative facts and all this bullshit. So when I say to this brother, hey, brother, check this out. Tell me what the alternative facts are, because you may have a point. His ass ran. When he said, you have a list of untruths, and I say, John Mary, give me my list of untruths. And he runs. But see, y'all, that pen and paper is powerful. And oftentimes, we don't have the platforms to defend ourselves. So we'll accept what someone says and say it's law. But we're going to go to the lines right now, baby, because we've been talking the show and see what you're thinking, how you feel. Hey, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you're calling from?
Veronica Smith, Doha, Qatar.
Talk to us, Veronica. Thanks for calling in.
You said Qatar?
Qatar. I work with the military. I'm a civilian. I've been watching you on your interviews. And, you know, I feel you. I totally understand. But I'm going to be honest with you. You in Atlanta. I'm thinking to myself, why don't Monique get together some independent filmmakers and you do your own thing, make your own lane, because I feel like you got the power to do all that.
You know, sis, we appreciate that. And it's not like we're not trying. See, we have a movie out there that we executive produced called Blackbird. We have a movie out there that we executive produced called Interwoven. So it's, and when my brothers and sisters say that to us, we want y'all to understand it ain't like, baby, we ain't out there trying to make it happen.
But in addition to that, because you make a good point, all of those things are what we're pursuing. But what happens is you have to pinpoint where a problem is, because as a prime example, Sister Wanda Sykes, she had a situation with Netflix. The world never knew until Monique spoke up, and then there was two. And then it illuminates the fact that there are no black women who have been paid ever in the history of comedy. Name me one black woman who's got paid a Richard Pryor, a Kevin Hart, a Melissa McCarthy, a Roseanne, Rosie. Tell me, an Ellen DeGeneres. Tell me one black female comedian that has ever gotten that opportunity. And that's the reason why we had to take a stance right now.
Yes, and I totally agree with you. Don't think that what I say, saying anything against anything else. I just feel like when I watched your interview on Sway about 2 nights ago, I was like, man, listen, I just feel like Monique can just really do her own thing, and just still, make a killing. That's just my personal opinion. I've been watching you ever since you were on UPN, and
Wow, baby.
Thank you for calling.
Thank you, my baby.
Okay, I'm serious though. I mean, listen, I'm not rich, but I said, hey, listen, you got to pull together some independent funds. I'll put some money down for it.
You better speak it to the universe. We love you, sister. And, I have to address this sister as well, because this is what we do to our communities. We poison us. And when we don't know any better, we'll applaud a lie. I watched my sister Cheryl Underwood sit on that stage on is it the Real? The Talk. And she said, let me be clear about something. I never told Monique to take low offers. I told Monique when we talked that if she asked for forgiveness from Oprah Winfrey, Lee Daniels, and Tyler Perry, that things would be okay. Ladies and gentlemen all around the world, because we just got a call in from Qatar. Cheryl Underwood is telling a lie. I can't call my sister a liar, but what I will say is she's lying.
In that incident.
In that incident. I have the proof of the conversation that Cheryl Underwood and I had that it will show that that's not how that conversation went. And if Cheryl Underwood would have said to me, you need to ask for forgiveness, the first thing I would have said to her was, what am I asking for forgiveness for? But when Cheryl Underwood called me, what she said was, Monique, I know you're not lying and I know you're right. And that's when I said, bitch, then why are we here? And that's when she got into a really big hurry. She was catching a flight. I got to get to the airport, got to get to my plane. That sister sat on that stage. And not only did she lie to the world, she lied to the sister sitting there in front of her. And when you have women applauding a lie, that's how we poison our community. Now, it's awfully strange that the sister that everyone is calling so wrong, Steve Harvey, Cheryl Underwood, why won't they have us on the show to look us in our eyes and say, this is what you've done wrong? But what they'll do is be cowardly, and they'll speak it in a segment. They'll get the applause and say, phew, I dodged that goddamn bullet. Because they both know, if me and my husband were to come sit face to face with them, it'd be a different kind of story. So we have to, y'all, unite in just what's right.
We got to do that. And when we look at that, like the conversation that you had with Sister Cheryl, what's disappointing is, again, you're fighting for them to be able to go to a Netflix or go somewhere and get a fair wage. It would be one thing if we would be saying, we just want it for her, and Dave shouldn't get it, and Chris shouldn't get it, and this person shouldn't get it. Why? No, we're saying all of the individuals that receive what they receive, come on now, give them their props.
Give it to them.
All we're saying is, when a black woman is involved in a scenario, why can't she get her props? Why is that difficult? Why is it that, and you pointed it out earlier, why is it not a disruption that Amy Schumer received 13 million or 11 million and it becomes a disruption because she didn't get more? But now Monique should shut up because she asked for more than $500,000.
And that's what we've been taught in the history of black women in this country.
Black women?
I'm sorry. I'm right, baby. Correct me, daddy.
People.
Come on now. Okay, shit. Okay, I just got a little selfish in my space.
Come on.
Bring me back. Just people. So, again, and someone put in the room, it's a damn shame Steve Harvey would meet with Donald Trump, but not with our sister.
Oh, come on.
So, when Ida B. Wells says, call him to the mat, what do y'all call that? And I remember when he came out that meeting with Donald Trump, he said he a good man. That's what he said, he a good man. But you on your radio show saying that this woman is messing it up.
And let me say one more thing. And what y'all don't hear is, see, y'all don't know about Monique going to these schools around the country, talking to these kids in school that look hopeless. The teachers, they look even more hopeless. So that when she's looking at them, she's got to make this stand right now because she's going to look in that eye. And if she looks the other way right now, how can she look them in the eye and tell them to stay strong for the opportunities that lie ahead if that they acknowledging us? You was kind.
You is smart.
And you was
important.
And because of that, we ain't got to pay you no money because y'all take compliments instead.
Come on, and some oxtails.
And some oxtails.
Remember them niggas tried to pay me oxtails one time, Daddy?
We've been having a fight all of our lives in the damn early 90s. Ain't got the money after the show.
This ain't no new shit.
It ain't new. We just standing there.
Let me tell y'all, I'm going to take y'all all the way back. See, this ain't no new shit.
Got 2 minutes. Come on.
This little fat black girl from Baltimore and this little black boy from Baltimore. In the 3rd fucking grade at Woodmore Elementary School, I had a teacher named Mr. McKinney. Now, we're in the 3rd grade. How old are you in the 3rd grade?
I don't know.
You young, right?
6, 7.
You about 6, 7, okay? I'm in the 3rd grade. We have black children and white children in that third grade class. Mr. McKinney separated the class. He put all the white children on one side and all the black children on another side. He gave all the white children puzzles and coloring books. He told them, y'all go ahead and play. He then came over in front of us and said, I'm going to teach you how to speak correct English. I raised my hand. He called me Montague. For whatever reason, his ass could not say Monique. He said, yes, Montague. I said, Mr. McKinney, it's Monique. He said, well, yes, Monique. I said, why did you separate the class? He said, because I'm going to teach y'all to speak correct English. I said, well, before you do, can I go call my father?
Why?
He said, why are you going to call your father? I said, because they talk worse than we talk. So something is wrong. Mr. McKinney then said, class, come back together and we all fucking colored. Now, baby, I don't want y'all to think I'm just no new freedom fighting bitch.
Come on.
I've been a freedom fighting bitch since freedom fighting, had freedom fighting since freedom fighting.
And there it is.
Okay.
Take us home.
I'm going to take us home, Daddy. And I hope that we took y'all home. I hope we took y'all to a place where if you can't make it make sense, stop trying to. And inequality does not make sense. So let's stop trying to make it make sense. We want to thank each and every one of y'all, baby, for your ears, your hearts, and your mind, because you could have been listening and doing anything else today.
We could have. And I want to just leave you in that last thought of, if you support wrong, you will succumb to it. So stop supporting what eventually you'll succumb to.
And before we shut it all the way down, Daddy, I want to dedicate this show to a legend, to an icon that the world really never got a chance to know.
Joe.
And that's our brother in comedy, Mr. Joe Recker.
Joe Recker. Much love to you.
And may you enjoy your next journey, brother.
Rest in peace.
Like my daddy always says, the mind is like a parachute.
It is no good unless it's open.
We love y'all.
For free.
Mwah. We love y'all, my babies.
Thank y'all very much.